that respect will also be earned. They assume that President Sally, after President reacting to power, didn't even give me any space and just all over the place. Like she the one who still want to be president, attacking him and raising issues all over the place. Oh, Sidicians and other people would have come after her because she's portraying herself as a regular politician and not that former president who should be highly respected. So all I'm saying, and I want to do that as an appeal to the president, you may have concern. You were just here a couple of days ago. When you came to power, someone made a policy position on our part. I will not bother the government for 12 months. You will know why it takes the wrong government. Let them put their bearing together, let them sit down. And after 1 year, you will know whether that government is moving in a positive direction or not. Then we can begin to flesh the issues. In just 1 month, you left for a year in a dignified manner. I'm talking about my president, who I want to respect as a former president. I'm saying if he makes himself that ordinary political person and is in the middle of the political discourse, then he got to be treated as such. I don't want to do that. I will lead the charge as the government information minister, but I want to respect my president. So just a humble appeal to him that, look, you're not ordinary anymore. You are a former president, your excellency. You can't talk about battle line, drone, this one. Battle line where? With who?
Let me
so that's what I'm saying.
Something. We have lost this election to a statement. We can only hope that President Boakai will not repeat the tragic mistake that we all made. And I'm vindicated. This is why I never participated in 2023 election, because I never had confidence in WIA. And let me state this for record. WIA used all of us 2017 for one major purpose: to replenish his lost assets. The enthusiasm that has characterized the CDC during 2005, 2011, and 2017 election plummeted. And WIA's only desire was to amass wealth for him, his family, and few cronies of his. We have lost this election. You left the party's member in pawn. You left the executive committee of the Congress for Democratic Change and its coalition member of the MPP in pawn. You really think we don't know what you did? But we allow it to go, because technically you did the right thing for the country to leave the stage of this presidency. Honestly, in my opinion, you are the worst president this country ever had. And I will repeat it, you are the worst president this country ever had. You rule on the blood and sweat of sedition for your selfish reason. And then you hear stating that there were insincerity on the part of the party's leadership. You brave to even utter that word on the eve of a runoff. You had a very strategic meeting with Rani Samoka in the Oakland Church. You think we don't know what happened? You never gave power because you wanted to give power or concede defeat. 2 reasons. You never even had the ambition to become president again. You were feeling the sedition because
former Senate Bearer and now chairperson the governing council. We collaborated with the Unity Party. We are called Rescue Ministry. Rescue. Koga is my relative, but he belongs to PUP. As the interest of our president and our vice president, NDR provided the vice president. Our interest, their interest is Yantoya. Can their interest be different from my interest? Isn't that a division? All right. And we are the ruling party government. So, but as the minister of the gospel of Jesus, when Koga comes to him for prayer, I can't deny him. I pray for him. Yantoya, I pray for him. The party that I'm heading as a chairperson governing council has a choice. That choice is Yantoya. But it doesn't stop me from praying for anybody who comes to me. Because any decision contrary to our president, who is a Senate bearer of the Unity Party, it will be in contrast to any decision I made different. It will affect our relationship as a collaborating party. And the ruling party candidate is Yantoya. And I'm a supporter of the ruling party government. So the opposition candidate cannot be supported by our party. You understand? I pray for him. I bless. I pray for Yan. I pray for Koga. But the God will answer all prayers. So God, the honor. When the prayers, he left with God. Exactly. We talk. He was humble before God because he wants power, bigger power. He knelt down. That was good. But the ruling party and our party are working together. Our party had to enthrone and Bible Joseph back out of Liberia. So we can make decisions.
Where you get the money from? Can't give me the money I can. You don't who? And I can no right to act. What can I say where he? What can I mean for himself? Yeah. What can I say where you got? No. Another. Get more money. A personal money. Yeah. What money? A got money. Yeah. You got a fraud in the country. Hey, who? What you trying to say? Huh? Yeah. What you trying to say? You who? Nada. Don't do it to Waga. Waga from Madia. Don't do it to him. I'm not scared of him. you. The boy is saying, and I'm telling you, Yaga, I tell you, Jaga, the thing was to say, the thing will tell you know the party, you know the party, it will tell you something and that's about to tell. For what? You know the party say, well, Yaga, me are not happy, and now I was not happy, and you so here. I don't know, they are me. What did they get? I really, and you call the president. What can I even be? They're going to do like this. Get this here. And you so my child, I said, who the human being like? It can be called insult the president. It can be, he can not fear him. And you so say, what am I not carried to work? Am I not going away? If you know what, no. If you know what, take it to the next time. Don't insult what I don't thank you that body.
The Viewpoint comes on every Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. The Viewpoint comes on every Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. The Viewpoint comes on every Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. The Viewpoint comes on every Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. The Viewpoint comes on every Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. The Viewpoint comes on every Monday to Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. The View.
Let me say a very pleasant good evening from Punch House in 72nd Pingsville, just along the SKD Boulevard in Pingsville. Again, a pleasant good evening from Punch House, Punch 106.7 FM and 72nd Pingsville, just along the SKD Boulevard. Wherever you are this evening, by whatever means you listening to us and viewing us, we highly appreciate you for joining us on this Tuesday, May 21, 2024 presentation of The Viewpoint with me, Jeff Jefferson. Every man, every woman who has to take up the service of government must ask themselves these questions. Do I love my people in order to serve them better? Am I humble and do I listen to everybody? To diverse opinions in order to choose the best path. If you don't ask these questions, your governance will not be good. Pope Francis. Again, every man, every woman who has to take up the service of government must ask themselves these questions. Do I love my people in order to serve them better? Am I humble and do I listen to everybody, to diverse opinions in order to choose the best path? If you don't ask those questions, your governance will not be good. Pope Francis. We have to be bold in our national ambitions. First, we must win the fight against poverty within the next decade. Second, we must improve moral standards in government and society to provide a strong foundation for good governance. Third, we must change the character of our polities to promote fertile ground for reforms. Gloria Macapaga Arroyo. Again, we have to be bold in our national ambitions. Liberians, we must be bold in our national ambitions. First, we must win the fight against poverty within the next decade. Second, we must improve moral standards in government and society to provide its governance. Third, we must change the character of our politics to promote fertile ground for reforms. So, folks, welcome to it. Welcome to this Tuesday, May 21, 2024 presentation of The Viewpoint of Punch 106.7 FM Punch TV Live. My name is Jeff Jefferson. A couple of things to talk about tonight. And let's take a word from our sponsor. That's LRA, and we'll be right back. So keep tuned, folks. Do not go away. It promises to be intriguing conversations tonight on the Viewpoint.
Your real property taxes. Your real property taxes.
My people, you don't hear it? The LRA people, the people then that can collect government taxes, they say that it's time now to pay your real estate tax. Whether you get house or you get land in the city or outside the city, the LRA people say that it's time to pay your tax from now to July 1 this year. The people from the LRA will be in your community to tell you everything you need to know. So look out for them. They will come and teach you everything you need to know about paying your taxes for your properties. Just cooperate when you see them in your community. In your knowing, when you pay tax, all of us can enjoy. When you pay your tax on your land or your house, the government will do plenty fun things for all of us. Pay tax, we all enjoy.
In a limited diploma, what John Brown, you can pay even when you living uptown. Pay your real property taxes. Pay your real property taxes.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back to today's presentation of the Viewpoint upon 1617 FM. So, like I indicated before the commercial break from LRA partner, we've got a couple of things to talk about tonight. And of course, it is surrounding our staple food, RRC, rice. You know, the historicity about rice, and if we link it with conflict, you don't want to jeopardize, the progress of Liberia when it comes to stability in the price of our staple food. Very important. Maintaining stability in the price of our staple is something that can never be overemphasized. Is something that we cannot politicize. There is a history in 1989 referred to as the rice riot. If you can make available rice for Liberians to chop, they don't care about how you go about whatever you do. Just make sure rice is available and affordable. Any attempt to deviate from that, you are looking for problem. And any government that prefers to be so sophisticated and having the expertise to govern, you don't tamper with Liberia's staple. You must ensure that the rice is available and affordable. If you don't do so, you are treading on a dangerous path. Now, before I go into details and then discuss further, we like to wish our brethren, our brothers and sisters who are by now on the road from Ghana to via Ivory Coast into Liberia, our brothers and sisters and children and other folks who were made homeless when the Gomoa and Theta chiefs said, "No, come on, we've gave you decades to over 3 decades, spanning to over 30 years, that your country is peaceful, and allegedly You are here, you are involved allegedly with prostitution, criminality, and blah 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 blah. So we want to develop our land. And let me state this for a fight. The Ghanaians, they respect tradition. I'm not saying we don't respect tradition in our country. And they respect tradition to the extent that they will speak English and speak, what they call it, is it tree? They speak English like 45 seconds, they bring their dialect. And all of the time, 2 times I've been to Accra, Ghana. I try to listen to radio stations. I didn't hear any Liberian song. The first time I went to Accra was in 2022. The second time was in 2023. When I listened to radio, I didn't hear Liberian songs. Only if for Jezino, thank God for Jezino, who is raising the flag of Liberia out there, and all of the radio stations in Accra or in Ghana, they want to host Jezino, and so they use that time to play his songs, Butter My Bread and blah blah blah. You just name it. So I'm only reflecting on this to portray that the people of Ghana respect their culture. They've got their chiefs, their kings, and they so much adore their culture. Then they speak English. Few seconds, they go to their dialect. Even on the national television, that's what they do. So, on the basis of their culture, we as the Feta and Gomoa chiefs, who's given you long time, because even the national government does not dictate to the traditional people. They work in line, but the traditional people say, oh, these people have occupied our land for decades. It's about time to go. Their country has have two democratic relations, two democratic transition of power from a defeated president to an elected president. A sufficient reason to say your country is peaceful. So what are you doing here? And with allegations of prostitution, blah 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 blah. Finally, the camp was demolished. Burning, sleeping in the open in on the outskirts of the Budbura camp in schools. So we thank the Unity Party-led government for being very proactive. This is one of the things the government has been proactive over. We will still some of the things they haven't been proactive in. And that's where we come to settling the dust when it comes to the rice issue. So, over 700 of our brothers and sisters are coming to Liberia today. They might be en route now because I spoke an hour ago to the president of the Liberian community, Dennis Guion, and he said they were taking the buses to the border to leave Ghana to get on the road to Ivory Coast and then subsequently to home. So that is done. That is sealed and dusted. So we wish our brothers and sisters safe travel home. The first phase, 770, over 4,000, a little over 4,000, I think 300 some more persons. So they are going to be repatriated. They are being repatriated. So just want to inform you about that. Now, and let me just take this moment to congratulate is it Joseph Valai as the Deputy Presidential Press Secretary. Now we have Kula Fofana as the Presidential Press Secretary and Joseph Valai as the Deputy Presidential Press Secretary. Remember when Kula was announced or appointed via the Executive Mansion website, there were claims and counterclaims that she didn't have this the experience when it comes to being maybe a full-time journalist. But I'm told that she may have had little knowledge in journalism because probably she did mass communication at either AME or UME something, but she's got some knowledge, little knowledge in communication or media studies or something. And so she's been doing extremely well to some extent. I said to some extent. Now, many persons have had the thought that since you have taken someone who is quote unquote not um, journalist, because a journalist, we've had the culture in Liberia that, Sam Manor came from though Sam Manor, the first presidential press secretary, former President George Weah, though he served as media aide when former President Weah was senator in Mozarella County. But I don't also there was sufficient history of him having that media background. So at the end, Sam Manor was suspended and dismissed. So you have to bring Solo Kebwe, who has a history of being a journalist, going to University of Liberia, and then you're doing mass communication of something about governance, and then eventually Smith Toby. So you could see the corroborativeness of what from the presidential press secretary angle, how they work. And I can for sure tell you that they succeeded. Solo Kebwe, as a Solo Kebwe and Peter Toby, Smith Toby, pardon, they to some extent succeeded because they are knowledgeable, they are journalists, they've got the experience, and they know how to propagate the image of a government. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is compelling to have journalists to serve in the office of the presidential press secretary. In my reliance, it's let's go to Jean Pierre, who is a current presidential press secretary to Joe Biden. So Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre is the current presidential press secretary to U.S. President Joe Biden. Now, credential-wise, she might not have done journalism or communications, but she did public affairs. She did public affairs, so she has vast knowledge in public affairs, and she's worked with Kamala Harris, the vice president, worked for some years with former President Barack Obama. And so you can say Karine Jean-Pierre is completely a journalist, but she's got the experience working in the executive. Karine is the first black coming. Karine Jean-Pierre, born August 13, 1974, is an American political advisor. Now, like I said, who has served as the White House press secretary since May 13, 2022. She is the first black person and the first openly LGBT person to serve in the position. Previously, she served as the deputy press secretary to her predecessor, Jen Psaki from 2021 to 2022, and as the chief of staff for U.S. Vice Presidential candidate at that time, now Vice President Kamala Harris, during the 2020 presidential campaign. So you understand that Karine Jean-Pierre she's knowledgeable about what's unfolding at the White House. So she fits, even though she might not have a complete credential of a journalist, but she did public affairs, and public affairs has a lot to do with journalism courses. So of course she fits in that position, and so we can equate Kula Fofana to her, and that similarly they have the only difference is that Kula, this is the first work in the government institute, work with government, but Karine Jean-Pierre has worked at the White House for length of time. Now, while I'm stating this, if you've got Kula Fofana, who has got little or no knowledge about journalism, and though she might have studied, but she did not practice it. Maybe she did so faintly, and if I'm told that Kula is now first time working in the government, but working in the presidency, I will be fair because Jean Pierre, Karine Jean Pierre, all her working has been with at the White House, working with politicians and strictly with politics. And so, Kula has been involved with politics. She contested in Grand Cape Town. She's been with the Unity Party. So I'm only equating her knowledge to that of Karen Jean Pierre. So you can say she's a bit knowledgeable about what she's doing, though she might have some uh pitfalling, or she might have some issues. Granted. Now, so if this is a situation, considering our political culture in Liberia, in all, for me, I have witnessed, uh, to be frank, from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to George Weah and so forth. So I know exactly those who serve in the press sector position are all journalists and knowledgeable journalists. Now, and if practiced, the like of Jeremy Pierre, the like of Cyrus Badio, they all journalists. Four have a history of being full-time journalists. Now, so if you want to, because there is a phrase, no business as usual. I'm coming to a point so that we try to make understand what's unfolding in this government. So you have Kula Fofana and the deputy presidential press secretary to Karen Jean Pierre. What's her name? She's Olivia Ali Dayton. She's an American, white completely. She's going to Apple now to serve as Apple. She had to resign to go to Apple. Maybe Apple says she's going to work. Maybe she's gonna make more money than serving as deputy. So Olivia Ali Dayton is the deputy was the deputy to Karen Jean Pierre. And for her, she attended the McCourt Schools Institute of Politics and Public Service. So Jean Pierre did public service as well, and so her deputy also did Institute of Politics. So if you do politics and public service, obviously you fit to serve as in the office of the presidential press secretary, whether you proper or deputy. So I just want to make that clear. So Joseph Valley, he is similarly not a journalist, does not have any record of being a journalist. I know one journalist posted and said that he said, I know, went to second internship in Zozo, why he running blah blah blah. But that doesn't equate you to be a journalist. If you study in school or university, is not in communication or media, then of course. So you have quote unquote, you have two people now serving as the presidential press secretary and a deputy who have little or no knowledge about media or journalism. Please interpret me properly. You have two individuals who've got little or no knowledge about journalism or media serving at the helm of the presidential and deputy presidential press secretaries. Now, same manner, who had similarly little or no knowledge, because he was media officer in former President George Weah office when he was a senator. What happened? He was dismissed because he started doing things because he's not knowledgeable about that office. So there were some things he said and spoke about. It didn't reflect his office, so he was suspended and dismissed. We hope that Kula and Joseph will not fall, because they are not, to be frank, they are not typical journalists. Even though serving that office does not require, there's no anywhere on the globe, the reliance is that of the United States. We have people, Jean-Pierre, Karine Jean-Pierre, and Dayton serving as so they are credentials doesn't fully mean that they were journalists who sat on radio, blah blah blah, but they did public affairs and politics. So they have got some knowledge. Not like they got huge experience. Unlike the others, I don't know about the credentials of Joseph, but he's not a journalist. We wish them well, and probably it's because the Unity Party mantra is no business as usual. So you don't want to follow George Weah's step, no President Weah's step, who has initially appointed somebody, same man as David, president, press secretary, later on no journalism knowledge, dismissed him, brought in Solo Kebe and Smith Tobe, and you could see how Smith Tobe propagated and the Solo Kebe propagated the agenda of the executive mansion. We hope that these two can do similarly, because if you want to actually, from the history of our country, if you want actually to succeed, you must have people with the journalistic background. And we think that there are many journalists who sacrificed and supported the Unity Party to come to power, and they should have been given opportunity. So if you have Kula Fofana, who does not have that history of journalism, though she might have studied some courses and partially practiced, you must get her deputy to be somebody who is schooled in journalism and media or communication to aid her, because people already have doubts about her performance 100%. So we don't know, but it's not business as usual. So you have two non-journalists occupying the post of deputy presidential press secretary and deputy. We wish them well. We wish that they can succeed. So that's that. So I've spoke about two things already. Liberians who are on road already being repatriated from Ghana, and the presidential press secretary and deputy. Now let's come to the crust of the conversation tonight, and that's where we pay more attention, because on the viewpoint tonight. Now I term it as settling the dust. Settling the dust. Now, and I also want to to go deep into the conversation. I want to state some parlance, Liberian parlance. They say, but this parlance might not be limited to Liberia, but prevention is better than what cure. Prevention is better than cure, and proper planning prevents problem. Proper planning prevents problem, and the under settling the dust. Now, why am I saying settling the dust? Because yesterday, we listened to the Minister of Commerce and Industry announcing that there has been an increment in the price of the Indian parboiled rice on the Liberian market. Did anybody coerce or compel the Minister of Commerce and Industry to go at a special press briefing of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, MICA, to announce or publicly announce that importers of rice, due to quote unquote global economic conditions, had decided to increase the price of rice from 16 US dollars to 18.5 cents United States dollars. Now, I want this to be emphatic about this. You defeated or unseated a government that quote unquote was not capable or lacked the expertise to handle things or issues that centered around maybe the politics of our country, the rice, gasoline, petrol, and you just name it, basic political commodities. And coupled with the government being inept, lawlessness, breakdown of good governance, the system in all of the government ministry agencies scattered. In this area, people were just all over. People were not even going to work. So the system was destroyed, or the systems were destroyed and damaged. Now you have the knowledge, you are knowledgeable, you are the one who have come to face this mess. And we know that it's going to take time to face the mess. But when the president gives you an opportunity to be a lieutenant to help in facing the mess that was created by the former regime, you must be up to the task. There should not be any if and on. Now, settling the dust, somebody has already polluted the atmosphere with dust, which is the Minister of Commerce and Industry. I've gone to make a special press briefing in the wake of artificial shortage of rice, increment, blah, blah, blah. He's acknowledged that importers and has emphasized that due to global blah, 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 these importers says they are increasing the price of rice, Indian parboiled rice. I like the fact he emphasized that preferred by Liberians from 16 US dollars or 17 US dollars, whatever the case may be, to 18.50 United States dollars. Now, so questions were asked. Rescue missionaries were concerned. I know the opposition, but they ran with it as a plus for them. Now, I would state why they ran with that development, or also a development of situation as a plus for them. I would state that. Now, fast forward. Were there options available to even prevent the Minister of Commerce and Industry going to make a press briefing to state or announce what he announced? Were there options available? What were the engagements behind the scene? Mind you, you've come to authority, you come to governance to make the difference and not business as usual. Now, I like the fact that rescue missionaries are saying we want to go back to the soil. But going back to the soil and investing in agriculture is not an event. It's a process. It's going to take, it's not impromptu that you say, we're going to a bone counter, we're going to look at, we're playing rice this week, next week we start harvesting rice and process it and distribute it to Liberians for little or nothing. So when you go to MICAT as the Minister of Commerce and begin to say, oh, we don't have price control, then it was better that the CDC government remained in power. Because you profess to have the expertise and the knowledge to handle and address these things. But if you go and even refer to that sector as a cartel, I think Amin Moda should be the first person to be dismissed as Joseph Yuma Walker. Should set precedence. Set precedence. Because you did not do your homework. You embarrassed the presidency that they have to call. Now, this meeting that was called today should have been a meeting that should have been called ever since. That said, there is a global economic issue that is impacting your importation of our staple to Liberia. What can we do to address this? But when the damage is already done, you go in and call for, what you call a meeting for today? What was the meeting called for? So we will come to the outcome of the meeting. We will come to the outcome of the meeting. Now, we've committed ourselves to speak about the good that the government will do and speak about the ills the government will do. We're not like other stations who will see red and say that pink and see pink and say that. No, we will see red, they will see that red. We see white, we see that white. Though you can detach us, you can detach Point Seven from the ruling establishment. We are partners, but we are keen. We will remain independent. If they do the right things, we propagate the right things. If they go wrong, we speak about the wrongs. Because it is about country. It is about Liberia and not any individual. And coupled with the fact that you came on to power with the mantra of rescue, you can endanger. You should be rescuing and not endangering the people. If you can maintain rice at $16, it should not. There should never be an increment. Make sure anything possible that should be done to maintain rice at $16 or $70 should be done. Any attempt to see whether it's politics or what, to see an increment in the space of 5 months, there will be different interpretations, as we're saying. So it becomes difficult to defend. It becomes difficult to defend the government. Now, were there options available to prevent the pronouncement yesterday that was made by the esteemed Minister of Commerce and Industry? In my mind, Amin Moda was appointed by the president because all of those, when I watched the video today, I saw all of those people who went there, also Lebanese and Indians and blah, blah, blah. A Caucasian like Amin Moda should have control over those guys. But if you can't have control over those guys as a lieutenant of the president, because you are just like them. But to say you have no control over price because it's a global phenomenon, similar things that was done in the former regime, and that area going follow to describe the situation as a cartel. It only inform people that is this man misplaced or is he displaced? Is he misplaced? Because with all of the trying times that the CDC had, and I never heard any of their lieutenants referring to the rice situation as being a cartel or blah 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 or syndicate. You don't know cartel or syndicate, people who operate to just benefit themselves. They don't care about the others. They want to benefit themselves. So are you saying to us that on a rescue, there are people who are operating as a cartel in the rice, in importation of rice to Liberia? That was not even a right thing to say to the public, to address or describe the sector as a cartel, Mr. Commerce and Industry Minister. Now, what was available? The Commerce Minister has made us to understand that what was available was to go back to the soil and invest in agriculture. Now, is investing in agriculture an event? It is a process. Now, what is George Weah? I am in no way a supporter of the former regime. And to be frank with you, I supported the Unity Party regime. And don't come tell me say, oh, he's journalist has to be a human being. You think these journalists are angels? All the journalists in the country, they voted our party, including me. I voted a party. I voted Joseph Walker. I voted Unity Party. And the reason I did so was because there was a growing wave of change due to what transpired during the former regime. So the believability, the people believed believe in JNB to take Liberia out of the dungeon, the spoil system. All the sectors of Liberia during the past 6 years were damaged. You needed, like, quote unquote, a messiah. We all trusted JNB to be the messiah to restore, to take Liberia from dungeon of bad leadership and inept governance and lawlessness and corruption and poverty, and you just all of the negative vices you can think about on the governance, on our leadership. So I'm not a unity partisan, but I did vote Joseph Boca and unity party because I want to change. And when I read the manifesto and the rest, I felt it was the right thing to do, to vote JNB. So you owe the voters the responsibility to not be irresponsible, as you consider the former regime as irresponsible, reckless, lawless, lacking, being inept, lacking aptitude to run a state or a nation. So you can't afford to do similarly as they did. Then, if you do similarly as they did, there was no need of removing them. So Animoda, you've done similarly as a former minister of commerce state. What's her name? I just forget her name. What's her name, man? What's the woman name? I will get the name. Fast forward because I need to open the lines. So, when the issue of rice occurred during the former regime, or what were the options available to former President George Weah and his lieutenants? Saying Ukraine war has come and Russia, blah, 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 and they're holding the ships on the Suez Canal or on the sea, blah, blah, blah. What can we do? The importers say we got a problem. We have issues with imported rice. So a conversation was held. Since you've got issues, what can we do to say, okay, we was saying you got a problem, we'll subsidize. What? Because from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who's vice president of the current president, rice price was like 1,600, 2,005, something in that range. When George Weah came, former President George Weah, they took it to 2,000, I think 1,006, 2,000 plus something. They took it to 2,005, 2,000, blah, blah, blah. So when the government, the former regime observed that this was unfolding, and to admit that was one of the best thing the former government did. What can we do to address this? To maintain the price of rice at $15 or $16. What they came up with was to subsidize the importation. Help the importers choose subsidizing the importation of rice. And they spend annually like 10 to 11 million United States dollars to maintain the price of rice. Now, why am I stating this? When there is a situation, when there is a condition, there should be something to remedy the situation or to address the situation, or to calm the situation or the condition. So if you have the CDC government saying, okay, if it costs us to spend or to even borrow or credit, no wonder why they went into the coffers of foreign partners. They were just taking money from everywhere. I know United Partners don't want to do so to tarnish their revenue, because when the foreign partners release their statement and say, oh, Sameto was going in our coffers, taking our money, blah, 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 it was another issue here. So you don't want the Unity Party. So CDC succeeded, even though there were backlashes, but they succeeded in maintaining the price of rice at $17 or $16 because they subsidized. So that was the only remedy they had. Now they have faded away. You have the Unity Party, and you obviously should take note of what preceded or what happened in the past, or what happens in the past. That the rice issue that is an ever-living issue. The importers and will want to play politics, they want to gain, blah, blah, blah. What can we do? So if this conversation started from February or December or January, whatever, then you should be fast-sighted enough as a rescue government that have come to make the change, that have come to do the right things. What can we do to prevent increment? So if there is global economic conditions or issues or ramifications that will affect the importers, what can we do? Now there are two options. One option, the greatest option there is to continue subsidizing importers to import rice. Now, if you feel that that is a waste, but what is, then you should come up with, because you don't want to follow suit as the former regime. What should be done? If you cannot come up with anything to stop these people from increasing the price of rice, then you should be questioned. The expertise, the knowledge that you were voted on should be questioned. So, if we cannot continue to subsidize you to import rice as importers or give you $10 or $11 million annually, in fact, it's so soon. Let me emphasize that in 5 months, you can't be spending that type of money to subsidize rice, importation of rice. But what can be done? Now, there should be a remedy to the situation. Saying there is global economic conditions that is impacting these importers, you can't allow them to increase. And then you say, and then the Minister of Commerce and Industry say, we need to go back to the soil. Is going back to the soil or investing the 10 or 11 million dollars that former President George Weah did annually into agriculture would be an instant remedy to the increment. So that brings us to the Liberian parlance and say, dry dog sweep, but we'll be eating till the dog gets dry. And you know that to go to the soil, that now you going there to net to go plant rice, harvest a red to net, processes and make it available. You know, it's a process. That 3, 4, 5 years business. So you can't that tell, if you state that we have no press at the government, this is a global situation, we have no press control, and so let's accept it as it is. It tells us that you don't have solutions to the problem. So Mr. Modal, Minister Modal, you can't go to Mika and say, we don't have press control. It is a global matter. We're not feeding ourselves. But the solution to this problem is we must go back to the soil. And you know that going back to the soil is not an event. It's a process. Investing in agriculture is not an event. It is a process. What can you do to prevent these importers from increasing the price of rice? You stated that the price of increase from 16 to 18.50. And you know, today, in Liberian people, we are really wicked to one another. We are waiting for some small situation to explode. We are waiting for one singular opportunity to kill one another, figuratively, not to they go to customer and they go of shot at somebody. You will get rest in your house or you bought for $15. And so long you waiting for, but hey, you claim it from 15 straight to 20. And you know that you didn't buy that rice, or you're not supposed to say that rice, but you're waiting for an opportunity or situation or condition. So, Mr. Modal, you were never supposed to make the pronouncement yesterday. So you're just doing similarly as the former government did. You were never supposed to make that pronouncement yesterday. The rice is at 1850. Some people say they go to 19 or 20. Some people even say $21, that 3,000, 4 something, 7 something, blah, blah, blah. Almost going to 4,000 people selling rice down. So you created the dust and you are part of this government. You are one of the cabinet officials of this government. When you make that declaration, what do you think? People who had a right saying, well, they bought cheaply, they increase the price because they want to take advantage of the situation. So going to the soil, investing in agriculture is not an immediate solution. It's not a short-term solution. To not increase the price of rice from importers, there should be a short-term there should be a short-term solution or plan. Going back to the soil, investing in agriculture long-term. So if you have that long-term plan, then I mean, before 2, 3, 4, 5 years for you to achieve that, rest 50 kg bag of rice will go to $50. Because you're not getting control. What you want to do now, go back to the soil. So go to the soil and lead the importers to do by themselves and let them increase the price. That's the interpretation of what you said to us. We must go back to the soil. We won't get price control. So as you're going back to the soil, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the people will be increasing the price of rice. So you failed. I mean, more that. Now you put the president on before that, because you put the president and the presidency under an embarrassing situation. The meeting that was called today should have been called before yesterday. I said, no, we just 4 months in governance. Why can you can't do this? We are just 4 months, going to 5 months. You can't do this. You can't increase price of our staple. You can, if for any increment, that should be rice in 5 months' time of a new government. You must prevail upon these importers. They have been benefiting at our expense. So if you can't prevail upon them to not increase, then what does it mean to be an authority or to be in power? Now you accepted the increment, made the pronouncement. You scatter the atmosphere. There is doors. The president have to call people to go settle the doors. Now they go settle the doors. They say what they say on executive mansion. Now the interpretation of the executive mansion. So let me just take this break to attend to nature, please. I need to attend to nature. Let me take this break and attend to nature. It's very, very important. Let me take this break. I'll be right back, please.
Be an information minister who doesn't talk back to my former president in a negative way. But my former president was act presidential. This is just 1 month since you left office. What is the rush about? What is it, instead of you being that statement that you should be, even being concerned about how the country makes progress? What is it using your church platform now to be throwing jabs at the administration be a priority for you? But then there's a problem. The Bonga administration will not drop back from the issue of accountability. So if I go to the Ministry of Information, for example, I just take what I've mentioned, no audit. I just continue. Where am I working? What do I know I'm working into? Audit will give me a picture of the kind of institution. Look, when you do audit, not necessarily to find role. Maybe there was no system. It's possible that people stolen. If you don't do audit, and who will do this audit? The current auditor general was not appointed by President Buhari. As we're talking about people running behind people, I feel anybody say they want that's why at the GSC was he not put there by the CDC? The man and his whole team, he appointed them. Oh, they went wish on him. Is that what we're saying? No. The point I'm making, my orientation has changed. We should respect our past leaders. President Weah is one. I'm not thinking about doing that. It's not just with President Sally because I work with her. But then you got to carry yourself in a way that makes that respect to also be earned. I assume that President Sally, after President Weah came to power, didn't even give me any space and just all over the place. Like she the one who still want to be president, attacking him and raising issues all over the place. Oh, Sidicians and other people would have come after her because she's portraying herself as a regular politician and not that former president who should be highly respected. So all I'm saying, and I want to do that as an appeal to the president, you may have concern. You were just here a couple of days ago. When you came to power, someone made a policy position on our part that will not bother the government for 12 months. Because we know why it takes the wrong government. Let them put their bearing together, let them sit down. And after 1 year, you will know whether that government is moving in a positive direction or not. Then we can begin to flesh the issues. It's just 1 month. You left 1 year in a dignified manner. I'm talking about my president, who I want to respect as a former president. I'm saying if he makes himself that ordinary political person and is in the middle of the political discourse, then he got to be treated as such. I don't want to do that. I will lead the charge as the government information minister, but I want to respect my president. So just a humble appeal to him Now look, you're not ordinary anymore. You are a former president, Your Excellency. You can't start talking about battle line, is June, this one is battle line where? With who? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying to give us our past leaders. President, we are his one. I'm not thinking about doing that. It's not just with President Selly because I work with her. But then you got to carry yourself in a way that makes that respect to also be earned. I assume that President Selly, after President we the power, didn't even give me any space and just all over the place. Like she the one who still want to be president, attacking him and raising issues all over the place. Oh, Sidicians and other people would have come after her because she's portraying herself as a regular politician and not that former president who should be highly respected. So all I'm saying, and I want to do that as an appeal, the president, you may have concern. You were just here a couple of days ago. When you came to power, someone made a policy position on our part that will not bother the government for 12 months. Because we know why it takes the wrong government. Let them put their bearing together, let them sit down. And after 1 year, you will know whether that government is moving in a positive direction or not. Then we can begin to flesh the issues. In just 1 month, you left 1 year in the dignified manner. I'm talking about my president, who I want to respect as a former president. I'm saying if he makes himself that ordinary political person and is in the middle of the political discourse, then he got to be treated as such. I don't want to do that. I will lead the charge as the government information minister, but I want to respect my president. So just a humble appeal to him. Now look, you're not ordinary anymore. You are a former president, Your Excellency. You can't start talking about battle line, is June, this one is battle line where? With who? So
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Now, when you come to governance before the PCOS, on the mantra of rescue, that you have the expertise and the knowledge to transform what your predecessors did, there should be absolutely no excuse. You said you can do what they didn't do. Where they fell, you can fall. Where they stumbled, you can stumble. Where they were challenged, you can be challenged because you came to authority and power base. That was the mantra that brought you to authority. That these people are a failure. We will not fail. Where they failed, we can fail. That's a fight. We all were here. We understood. We know what they said. Now, before we pick us down, the executive mansion posted, and when we listen to the presidential press secretary, Kula Fofana, she emphasized. Now, what was posted was that in detail, but said following the meeting with rice importers, President Walker says there will be no increment in the price of rice. Now, there are two or more interpretations. Now, some people are saying that to say there will be no increment in the price is futuristic. That the government did not say, considering that the Minister of Commerce did announce that increment yesterday, and which took impact because he's an authority in his government. He announces those who have their rice that they bought less than that, they will increase it. So that immediately took effect today. All of the rice that people bought since Charlie Kita, they increased the price because an authority has made a pronouncement. So all of the rice, if somebody bought rice 2023, they may have keeping it, storing it in the warehouse. They increase the price to $20 or $21 or $18 or $19. Now, the interpretation is that following the meeting with rice importers, President Walker says there is no increment in the price of rice. Now, I can interpret this to say that following the meeting, following the meeting, the increment as was announced, what's happening? The increment as was announced by the Minister of Commerce and Industry has been overturned. I can interpret it that way. Even though the executive mansion did not say it, following the meeting with rice importers, President Walker has overturned increment. But I can interpret it because what is posted on the image is that following the meeting with rice importers, President Walker says there will be no increment in the price of rice. And another interpretation will be this 18.50 will remain, but there will be no increment above this. So they maintain the 18.50. Another interpretation will be that no, following the meeting, the regular price before the $17 or the $16 before the increment to 18.5 remain. So the executive mansion was not specific. So you leave an open, you leave a room for people to interpret, for people to make a judgment about what's unfolding following the meeting. I know the conversation still continues, and you've not come with a specific decision or outcome of the meeting that $17 or 18.50 will not hold. The rise is still at 16. So if you emphasize that the increment was overturned or canceled, then we'll go back to 16. Then the public, those people selling around will say, oh, or the president also going back to $16. But if you say the president Boga says there will be no increment in the price of rice, it leaves room for conversation and interpretation. But for me, I believe that this statement means that the price of rice remains at $16 and not 18.50. But others will interpret it as, oh, Senate announced an increment yesterday, the Minister of Commerce announced, so they say there will be no increment in the price of rice. So that means it's at 18.50, there should be no further increment. So you leave room for speculation and blah, 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 blah. But let's listen to Kula, then we can pick calls. Then you can make the determination. Let's listen to the presidential press secretary, and then we can pick calls tonight on the Viewpoint of Punch 1617 FM and the Coast Punch TV. So let's listen to Kula tonight.
There will be no increment in the cost of rice, and there's not going to be any. There will be no increment in the cost of rice, and there's not going to be any other level or layer of increasing the price at the moment. The government and the president currently working on other modalities on expanding the space of including more or finding other mediums and more to ensure that food on the Liberian market, particularly rice, remains constant and everything else is in place. As you know, the government is working diligently to ensure that there's a balance. Business people want to make profit, but profit cannot be made at the expense of the Liberian people and nothing abrupt. And the president is very clear on that, and the engagement happening as we speak. And the president wants the Liberian people to know that this is something that he's working with them on. In fact, as you know, very recently, the president did sign an executive order to remove tariff on rice. And that was also a part of this process to ensure the stability of the price on the market and not have, in the first 4 months of this administration, increment. And the president said is saying that the price is not going to change immediately, and there are workings happening behind the scene for harmonization. But yes, the president has not approved, the government has not approved any form of increment in the pricing of rice. I'm saying the current market price, not the increment. What the Liberian people were buying the rice for will remain at that. And there are other plans that the government, particularly the president, is working on to ensure that food is on the market. And any attempt to hoard the rice, other actions will be taken. I've just talked about that. But if you're talking about the particular rice, it says on a couple of interviews about well, artificial inflation is unacceptable. If you inflate a price, the Commerce Ministry and team will be on your back, and you're not supposed to inflate any price. We do know that business people take advantage and opportunities in these kinds of situations, but the president is saying to the Liberian people that the price of rice remain as it was. It's not any form of increment is not yet discussed or approved. There's discussions happening behind the scene. We understand the challenges the importers have expressed with the situation in India. We know they're going to elections, but any form of abrupt increment at this time in just 4 months is unacceptable. For now, the information to all of you this time is that there is not going to be any increment in the price. And that is the message from the presidency. Thank you very much. And we look forward to engagement.
The voice of the presidential press secretary, there is no increment. Thus, the interpretation, because someone will say the press secretary should be specific, but again, you cannot determine, you cannot dictate to what the presidential press secretary will say. But the interpretation of what she says is that the $16 that the rice was is what it is. There is no increment. There will be no increment. So that interpretation tells us that the rice should not be sold at 18.50 cents United States dollars. Rice should still be sold at 16. Now, the other aspect of it is that there should be a tax force to ensure that rice, every warehouse or every store selling rice should be at, or shop should be at 16 United States dollars and not more. But how? Because you want to effectuate this because your Minister of Commerce, the Minister of Commerce and Industry, has made an official pronouncement that rice is now, particularly the Indian parboiled rice, the Indian parboiled rice is now sold for 18.50, and not the other rice. So this is where we are, folks. What are your thoughts tonight on Viewpoint? We've talked about a couple of things. It's about time to afford you the opportunity to have your say. And the numbers are 0778 665 699, 0880 561 644, 0778 665 699, 0880 561 644. Let's pick our first caller. Good evening, your name and where you joined us from, please.
Hello, brother.
Hello, your name and where you call from.
This is Mr. Midget calling from Houston.
Let's hear you, sir.
The former common minister we're looking for is Moana Dick.
Yeah,
right?
Mawene Diggs. Thank you.
Moana Dick. Having said that, bringing people to realize and enjoy the release from the president office, read by the secretary of the office of the president. Amin Muda should be dismissed on the ground of poor supervision. Point. Yeah. And
Abi Moda should be dismissed.
oh yeah, because here it is that the common minister did not go into consultation with the information minister, with the minister of the president, and said, I hope it's not the best to be dismissed. But President asked,
Oh, you want Sylvester Grace to be dismissed too?
oh yeah, because the president asked.
Are you a rescuer or you are from opposite Lone Star cell?
Like again?
Are you a rescuer or you from opposite Lone Star cell? All on the Sakamo tree.
Oh no, my brother, you should ask what the government because we believe that our father worker understand the constitution, you understand the function of the president. That's why if things go wrong with the state, you come up with advice because they'll be no business as usual. So I'm saying the president did settle with the court money, the old people, you should not have done that. There was a committee set for the transition team. They should not have taken money to bring people in the country to another position. Definitely, you should not have taken 4,005 and try to put people who voted for Richard who did not win the speakership. But why you should have accepted when people go to go and speak. Why you go out there to speak? He did that too. So that was thinking the president after he took over. Now, that's so I mean, who is the president of Hamas as US people. No, he should be dismissed. Because it's a full supervision. What I'm saying, brother, he should have been in competition with the minister of and minister of the president said, meet the president, and this is what I want to say. So at the time he took the air, he will have a party. But yet, if the president of the state that there will be no issue. So which means this the president of the that we should be dismissed on the ground of full supervision. You got it?
Thank you, sir. Abi Moda should be dismissed due to poor supervision. Like I said, settling the dust. Abi Moda caused the dust, and the presidency have to settle the dust. So doesn't mean because the man went to Mika and said, due to global economic issues, importers say they're increasing. So was the executive not aware of this? So the executive have to call a meeting, and following the meeting, the executive said price remain the same. there will be no increment. So you see contradictions everywhere. Good evening, Yanimi. Where you call from, please?
This is the ball apart from me.
It is a pleasure having you. It's been a while. Welcome.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes I miss you. Okay? Uh, just now that the president has said there will be no increase in the price of rice, but yet people have already started increasing the prices already. You know,
Yeah.
some are already
So
started.
we are good at killing one another. If you are setting rest now, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to carry a price up.
No, not me. But yeah, once I did not input it, at the price, I will not have it. But I think this is where the people need to come in now. The Ministry of Commerce, Inspector General needs to be on the field now to start implementing what the president has said. But other than that, if the guys continue to sell, at those high prices, then of course will be that we have placed the president, public disrepute. So they need to start working now. The president needs to just
Do you support Amin Moda to go or he should remain?
I mean, the whole government. The balance the government, you need to go. So why would you be so fast to come on air to speak after you speaking for, the rest importer? So for me, I'm feeling somehow already. I'm not trusting him right now. Is that he's working in line with those people so that it will inflict hardship on the Liberian people. And I think he should go. He deserves not to be there.
Thank you so kindly, Edible, for your participation. You can do the same on 0778 665 699 Let's hear you tonight on the viewpoint 0778 665 699 Those are the numbers you can dial tonight and be a part of the viewpoint on Punch 106.7 FM and Punch TV live. Let's hear you tonight on those numbers. Let's pick this caller. Hello, your name and why you join us on, please.
Good evening. I'm sorry, and I feel this one.
Let's hear you, Abraham from SD. Oh, unfortunately, we lost Abraham. Let's hear from you, Abraham. Please try to redial the number 0778 665 699 Good evening, your name and where you call from, please.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Let's hear your name. Oh, Prince, it's great to have you tonight. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for the show as well. Thanks for your critical analysis. And like I told somebody, for me, don't have any expected confidence in Amin Moda, but according to history, according to records, his days as even chairperson for United Party, we saw how the party was dangling. The party couldn't reconcile. There was a lot of conflict. This is why when he meet Papa on the e-marshal, I was one person that was supporting for him not to be confirmed. But however, he got confirmed and he approved some of us right. Today, our agitation against him was not because we hate him, but because he lacked certain characteristics. So even come up at the hello.
You live, Koda Kegoe.
No, I hear my telling back.
Sorry about that.
So at the first meeting, to come out to the public and tell that you have had several meetings with the right inputter and looking at it for all indications, there's nothing to be done. And in fact, those people, they are cartel, they have decided, or what they have decided is what they have to happen without even giving the public a hope and reason to still be loving this government. It was something that I put as an effort. Because you can't say the only alternative is for all of us to get back to the store. And you're not even talking about budget allocations. You are not talking about what you as the human minister.
And going back to the soil, it's not even it's a process. You can just go and rest today and give the people to eat.
With projection that
Mm-hmm.
there will be certain money allocated to farmers, to local farmers, so as to what to beef up that strength for us to see people going back to the soil and what have you. And more behind, if you look at the farmer ministry, the act for which they were created is there to regulate some of those things. But as the farmer minister, you get this to fund it, and you say that the rest people have started to increase, and you have nothing to do. So I think it was on a firm in conclusion, the government did well for having to our poor and have listened to those people. And I think hearing the news in the figure now that they have been significant improvement, also welcoming.
Thank you so much, Prinkula Keles John, the Deputy Director of Operations at the National Transit Authority, Noah Gibson. Honorable Noah Gibson, good evening and welcome to the show. Good evening, let's hear you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my good friend and brother Jefferson. And you know, this is the difference between we and the CDC. This station is owned and operated by an official in our government, one of the commissioners of the LTA.
He resigned now.
Yes. Okay, let's assume. Okay, I agree that he resigned. But the fact remains that he was the one that established this station and then later on resigned to
And you can detach Punch from the Unity Party.
So for the fact, say that.
You can detach Punch from Unity Party.
Of course.
We are partners in progress.
Of course. So look at the way you discuss the issue just now. It cannot happen on some radio station around here. Everything when they were in power that that radio station reported was rosary. But let's come to the main issue. We are not giving excuses, Jeff, as you were saying. What is happening here in the first place that people understand this? As I speak to you,
no, I mean, would I give you excuses now, the president?
A serious meeting. No, but I mean, I is not also giving excuse as been seen by some people. That's the point I want to make. As we speak, a serious meeting just ended in the executive mansion this evening by the right importer and President Boakai, just on their way home. And I can assure the LaBrem people, interventions are on the way. We will not experience what people on the other side think that we intend to experience. But yet, what people need to know, or people must know, when the CDC government that I'm hearing them boasting that they managed to keep the price of rice stable, that's not stability. If you met the price of rice at the price of 1,875 in 2018 under the Unity Party government, and it went
to 2,000 or 3,000 something.
Yeah, it went up to 3,000 something is where it remained. You didn't bring it back to where you left it. I mean, where you left it. You didn't bring it back there. You left it almost 2 times to where you met it. Then you're telling us that you stable it. It was not stable. In fact, it is as a result of what they did. The 8 million that they did not pay the rice importers that they left, that we also managing to settle. These are things that are learning us to where we are. And the issue of the Ukraine war, the difference between we and them with the Ukraine war excuse, they did not meet the Ukraine war on. The Ukraine war came when they were already 4 years in governance, meaning they were already going to an end of their term of governance. When the Ukraine war came 2022, February 24th. But then CDC were 4 years in governance.
Yeah, that's correct.
Say that?
You are quite correct.
Of course. And for us, we met the Ukraine war on. We inherited it. So if the common minister is coming out and say it's the result of the war in Ukraine, the Indian government have played 20% self-charge on the price of rice, he's right. That's not an excuse. And the government is not sitting. Interventions are being made right now as we speak. 1,000 hectares of land of rice are being produced right now in Fuama, that by July this year, less than 2 months. From
So,
now,
Honorable Gibson, you've said that continuously on this platform, but let's address the pertinent issues. Now, yesterday the Minister of Commerce and Industry said 18.50. Today, the presidential press secretary said there will be no increment. Where are we?
yes, the presidential press secretary stated, according to the meeting that was held this evening.
So can you confirm that price is still at 16 and nobody should be saying that 18.50?
So
Honorable Gibson, can you confirm that rice should still be sold at $16 or some cents and not 18.50?
Of course, because in fact, let me inform you credibly that the president was even angry this evening with the rice importers. Because every justification they gave, the president had economic thing.
No, you should be angry. I mean, more than another importers. That I mean, more that made the provided the information to the public. Well, now the importers, because I mean, more that has the capacity to tell the importers that no, you can't do this. We are just 4 months or 5 months in government. You can't be increasing price of rice.
No, but I don't want us to make the thing to look that want to put the people against Amin Muda. Right?
Okay.
Amin Muda is someone who is experienced for this job.
City colors have said that Amin should be sacked or dismissed. You can be support here.
Well, let me say this: no colors are entitled to their views. No colors are entitled to their views. Let their view be respected as well. Let be tolerant enough to accept their view. But they are not eternally. They are not there eternally to know what is happening. We are in government. We know what is happening. But what I can say in the coming days and weeks, the latest, this rice issue will be resolved. The president is making frantic efforts to assure the Liberian people. We are not giving excuses, but let the Liberian people also know that as a result of what we inherited, we're fixing it. It will be fixed. It's just a matter of time. Let them not allow anybody to incite them to go against what they made and to go and undermine their own efforts that they struggle for. It will be settled.
Thank you so much, Honorable Noah Gibson. Let's pick another caller. Hello, your name, where you join us on, please.
Good evening.
Let's hear your name, where you call from.
Thank you, Chief, and good evening to the many listeners from in the broadcast. My name is Kwewu with an and I joined this conversation for page 3.
Let's hear your call.
Thank you. Let me appreciate you so much for your talking point. You see, listening to you in your expose, you said that the government should do everything possible to achieve the right price as the message, because we criticize the past regime of being not being able or being reckless to the Liberian people. Yes, there's a difference that, I hear people shaving the rain on Amin Muda is a businessman. And Amin Muda knows this from these days to the people. When they come up for suggestion, and they try to propose them, what the guys going to do, they were going to create another future scarcity of rice into the market. They're going to hold on to their rice and say, tell it. And that would be more detrimental to the Liberian people than easily for the price to add up. Now, the only problem I have with is that you should have informed the president before coming up publicly to make a statement. But I agree with the rest people talk. For me, I don't see that as a problem for him, because he too knows that if he wants to fight by these people, they can hold on to their rights. We told him we are here. There are 30,000 people that increase the right, and we are so we can't listen to their decisions, and the people hold on to it. That's why we saw women jumping over people fence and all over the world. They didn't hide their money just for the purpose of buying rights. So for me, my suggestion is that
it's because the former president said any means you can use to buy rice in Mumbai, because they should not be increasing. So you should be very what's the word to use, forceful. You are the authority. You cannot allow few Lebanese people, like people, you can feel Lebanese people who are benefiting at the expense of the citizens in the country. You allow them to run because they are importing rice. You can't allow that to happen. If they don't, let them exit. Former President Selvi did it. She increased In fact, she made sure that the 2 to 3% that are doing the monopoly or importing rice, she increased the number, gave other people the opportunity to do so. This government has come on. You know, the reason why people will query your government is because you say you are the demagogue, you are the messiah, you can do what they didn't do. So you can't be and operating similarly as the former government did. The people will be disappointed because you've got the expertise and the knowledge.
And that is what it has reached to the extension of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia, that is the president of the republic. And he has taken today that tells them that there will be no increase into the rice price, be 5% or whatever. It would be at the same price as past government left it at something out of 50%. And why the government is working on modality to see how that period can produce their food, but then in that time, because my production is now even is the process. So I think the government has already started the bunker of sending rice and other things before that, before we can see how bad the input of bread can be drastically on the market. But you see,
thank you, my brother. Let's pick another caller 0778-6656. I will try to speak with Doug Cooper since the presidency has made this announcement. It comes to the tax force ensuring that rice is sold at 60 and not 18.50. So we will try to speak with Inspector General Doug Cooper. But let's speak this caller tonight. Hello, your name, where you join us from, please.
good evening, sir. I'm
Abraham, let's hear you.
yes, so I appreciate you tonight for your analysis. The issue about rice in this country, I people that all of this government supposed to be aware what issue of rice done to Nigerian people. Since 1979, rice has been political commodity in Nigeria. So any policy around rice, or any announcement to be made by any government official who is necessary at position, and the necessary development authority before coming out. So we are definitely speaking, we experience this in the Georgian government, that everybody will be more piece of the government. I agree.
Hello, Orange informs you.
Responsible to send with collaboration with people who want to help. But I'm a position that I'm not consult the executive management and some of the president go come out to inform the Nigerian people that the very important thing they are taking treatment in the right track. Okay? So if the government will be in a position, let there be an advisor or advisors around him to tell him how best to do this work so that his next action will not be hurting our country. We want to maintain our peace. We do not want to go back to those days. Thank you. That's my contribution to that.
Thanks for calling, my brother, for your participation. You can do the same on 0778 665 699 0880 561 644 0778 665 699 0880 561 644. Now, the statement from the president is a policy statement, and so the Ministry of Commerce in Indonesia is incumbent upon them to enforce. So we try to join Doug Cooper, who is a Commerce Minister for Inspection, to see how they can enforce this, because since what our pronouncement yesterday, the people feeling carrying the rice price to 18.50. So considering what's unfolding today, there'll be a tax force. Let's speak to the scholar. Hello, your name, where you join us on, please.
I speak for Chicken Super Trade and
Please go ahead, Mr. My friend and brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your topic. Yes, I just want to say that the president of the country work hard and make the Nigerian people capable to be normal. One of the reasons is that the Senegal government, this president, seemed to farm up with all the standards together. They were coming to rescue the Nigerian people, and now the Latvian people is hoping on them. Tell me, this the Senegal government and that of the former minister and people that come to us telling us that yes, reference and step up to 18 out of 15. So and now the president has gone to the rest, telling the rest different things. And the thing that the president told the rest, what the president does come out to talk with rest, before and people like can come out to tell us why he so on. Now he has come out to tell us that the Senegal reference has gone into their ear, and now the Latvian people is not satisfied. For me, the Senegal government needs to follow the line. It will not be better for them to keep discussing and keep discussing life to the Latvian people. It will not.
Thanks so, Khaled, my brother. Let's speak another caller. Hello, your name or you join us from, please.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Ambassador Louis F. Johnson, and I'm to join you from on District 2 resident.
Let's hear you, Ambassador Johnson.
I'm the founder of the group Liberian Support Division, Think Liberia, Love Liberia, Build Liberia. Thank you very much for the talking point this evening. I want to appreciate you always. But some of us, we are a bit low frustrated in this government that we highly supported, and we are also supporting holistically in every form.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many errors that we see not in the right footing, lying from government agencies, especially those major agencies that we hold in high esteem, coming from the police all the way to the government ministry. You saw what conflicted the last time. And there was a portion where they came to say something. Now the vice president had to come and make it on the right path. Today, we hear the government minister just came and said tomorrow effectively where price will be 18 point this one. Can you just do this as a responsible government? We said no. Before you come to the public to pronounce anything that would be able to affect the masses, it should be something that should be holistically approached. Look at the negative and the positive aspect. What do it stand to affect the populace? But if you just come because you want to utilize your functions,
the man made a statement that is considered as a policy statement, a statement that the government backs, and then the government the next day will call on the rising products and say, no, the thing I heard yesterday, we not agree to, they're going to go back to status quo. What does it mean? It's a sign of the same reckless that the former government carried out or implemented. No difference.
Thank you. That's true. We hold this government in high esteem, but if people will come and be very responsible to that position, then those people should not be used as a ambassador of rescue. Because if we come to rescue with the people, we should come with all of the requisite knowledge, the means and competencies to take over where the people stop that they mismanage and they damage some sectors. We come to repair. Now you can't come to repair and you start to damage any more than you should be a repairer. So people who are very ambitious about the position, people who have the anxiety to function, they shouldn't just function because they think they want to make that name, but you're making the government name. So every policy that will support and purchase government effort, it should be in line with it. Before you come as a minister to pronounce anything, make sure that you have notified the presidency and they have given you the go ahead to see what you are saying. Even though it will not be all of the time you have to notify them, but make sure that it's best suitable for the public consumption. So that's what we're seeing. So people that should not be in government to take over the power that we are expected people to come and help us because we are very frustrated to be here in the kind of things. You can't have a country and people are not going a rough footing and you say there's not a positive thing. That's why opposition try to say things. They say, oh, the people are wish on it. No, people is not wish on it yet. But the people will talk to you because what you are doing is not on a rough footing. So I'm very frustrated. I think President Baga should stand on your feet and make sure that this kind of people should not be giving credence or preferring to serve the country because they are not in the agenda. Our agenda is clear.
Thank you, my brother. Another caller. Hello, your name and where you join us from? Hello, let's hear your name and where you call from.
This is Emmanuel.
Let's hear your email.
minister has not done us well. You know, he want to use their own power. But in such thing like that, he's supposed to have contact the president. Whatever you do that is heavy for you, you have to refer to the public. And it's why he's not do, never did at all. Why can a minister just come out and say something like that? It is a way of damaging the government's reputation. We all fought for this team. We want a good thing. And the good way is to hear from each other. He never did it that way. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly. Let's try to speak with Honorable Dorkopo, the Inspector General of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. We tried to speak with Honorable Dorkopo. The phone is ringing. Let's see. Honorable Kopo, good evening. You live. You're speaking with Jeff Jefferson. You're live on the Punch Viewpoint Punch 106.7 FM Punch TV. So sorry for calling you without.
I'm in the bathroom.
Oh wow! Oh, so sorry. I had to call you. So we try to call you another time. Thank you for picking in away, but we wanted to hear from you, but you're in the bathroom now, so it's possible we can hear from you. So sorry about that. Hello, go for excuse in the bathroom. Oh god. Let's speak another caller. Hello, your name and where you call from, please. Good evening, your name and where you call from.
I do join you for my Sokene community and good evening to you and to the black people.
Let's hear you from Soul Clinic.
Yeah, thank you. Let me after the Honorable Mayor Communication or the task force commander for commerce after he did the ban on recall so he can make things clear and effectively tomorrow he start a job. If they not done a job, we are from the angle of the Union Party that supported the government seriously because small in the community, people get big pointing finger and we can stay past, we feel so proud and that kind of dignity way to talk with them when we lecture with them. We don't want for anything to come. We are not saying there should not be losses, but it should not be overwhelmed that people will cry in terms of any other bad news like this. No, I mean, would I have no right to stand and speak on behalf of government? He had no right. That means what I'm pointing to work at the way of pressure of the president. Anything you want to do, you should consult the press secretary and then there should be a go ahead and you should go and speak. If the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Information is nowhere around. That's the only time. We have the Ministry of Information here. You have anything you want, they have press briefing here every Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday. Why can't you go to the press briefing at the Ministry of Information to pay whatsoever you have to say? People can call you there. Then you
No, but he made a declaration yesterday at a special press briefing called by Mika due to reports of artificial shortage of rice and increment. He made a statement at Mika yesterday.
was not important to have a press briefing yesterday when he quit. Why he couldn't wait maybe like for tomorrow or today to go at the Ministry of Information? They can have a press briefing there every time. They can call the minister from the ministry to go make some clarity. What happened in their ministry? What are some constraints? What are some development they have it there? But you just jump on. We say me go make one press conference today. Who told you that what we there for? This is not irresponsible government. This is a responsible government, and we know the strategy of this government, and we are on a path. We are backing him. We are backing him. Let him sit and watch again. People who are responsible to make public information, they are there. That's what they are paid for. He is there to check me to see how best goods and press of goods should be eliminated and to see how best he should investigate some of those expired goods. These are your operations. These are your operations. And I'm so happy to do that the president is telling me. This is why we say President Boakai is somebody who is working. So President Boakai, take it today for pulling that noise down, for meeting with those people. And I'm aware that, to conclude, I'm aware that there have been 3 candidates selected in terms of agriculture improvement and farming. That is Bontante, Lofa, along with Iba. Right after those three countries have been established and the job is farming is going on and production is coming in, another three countries will be selected in the southeast. These are players we own. So I mean, whether you're not a government spokesperson, give me anything your information, please try to consult the president's office and then, if possible, the information ministry or the information minister will help you out as the information to relevant. But next time you do it, you have yourself to be playing. Immediately you'll be fired on next day. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly, my brother, for your participation. We take one or two more calls and wrap up of this Tuesday, May 21, 2024 presentation of the Viewpoint on Punch 106.7 FM and Punch TV live. Let's pick your calls on 0880-561-644, 0778-665-699. It is the Viewpoint on Punch 106.7 FM and Punch TV live. Now, let's try to connect with Emmanuel Kotu. Emmanuel Kotu today was fortunate to go to the Kari Center, rehabilitator or renovator center of Kari, where Liberians who are returning from the demolished Buduburan camp are going to be residing, the first batch of Liberians returning. So let's try to see whether we can speak with Kotu. Emmanuel Kotu, you're live on the Viewpoint tonight. Good evening. Yes, thank you so kindly for visiting the Kari site in Bangabong County, where returnees who are returning from the demolished Buduburan camp are going to be residing until they are integrated into the Liberian society. And let me also emphasize that you also went to Accra Ghana recently. You took upon your time to go to the Buduburan camp and to find out and ascertain what their conditions were. Now, tell us basically what's happening at Kari, where the first batch, a little over 700 persons will be residing as they return to Liberia.
Okay, so thank you so much, and many thanks for our listeners out there. Like you said rightly, I was at Kari this evening, and what is happening is that the LRRC, an institution that is responsible for refugee repatriation, in Liberia, actually building up things. Those things that are being built is a temporary, according to them, is temporary hosting center, or what we call it, they call it transit point, where those who have been made homeless at the Buduburan refugee camp in Ghana will be hosted. And then also, I saw that they are building, toilet facility for them, another place for water, and they also have what we call the medical screening center. Everything is being said because, according to the director of Patriot Host, they are expecting to see the first batch here on Thursday, and we're even given an invitation to go to a mini program will be on to work. Our brothers and sisters, some whom have stayed outside of the country for about 34 years, some 20 years, some 15 years, and he gave category of people who are coming. Because I think how sustainable is the project, and he's saying that they are able to identify some people who already have relatives back home here, and they have about almost 200 of them that have no idea as to where they come from in terms of relatives, where they were before, they are any of their family members. So those people will be given a home to stay. I understand some in Bowie County and Mosurari County, Maryland, and that of Grand Junction County, where some of them are coming from. So currently, as I speak to you, they have buses en route from Accra to Danande, and hopefully they will be in country on Thursday. So at the moment, that's exactly what is happening. And the site seems to be like, people are so excited, and I saw some of the market women trying to take advantage of that, the situation to at least come there to start selling corn and other stuff. And I'm sure it's going to be a lively area in the meantime.
Finally, Mr. Kotu, you went to Bujumbura, and the folks just give us a picture of what you saw of Liberians, women, children, the elderly, where they were lodging prior to the government intervention to have them repatriated back to their country.
Yeah, so prior to the government intervention, what happened is that around 2012, 2013, 2011, up to 2015, there was this issue of the seizure of visitors as in Liberia, because Liberia have had an election, and we have transitioned 2 different times, talking about 2005 and then that of the, I think it's 2014. That brought in the 2 terms for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So the United Nations High Commission for Refugee and that of the Ghana Refugee Board and the Christian Council of Ghana actually declare Liberians not being refugees in Ghana. And there were options.
So you're making reference to the cessation clause.
Yeah, there were options of the Liberians out of the refugee camp. They were given 3 options, and the first one was repatriation. That is, those who are willing to come back home. They also had another one for reintegration,
Local integration.
and then local integration. And there was also a platform where people who did not feel comfortable in them could select whether they want to stay in Ghana or they don't want to stay in Ghana. So
No, there were others who wanted to travel to Canada, America, or where was. Yeah.
So there were people, some of them decided not to go. So, and since then, the Ghana government said they don't have Liberian refugees. Actually, they have only 500 Liberian refugees, according to the refugee board. When I visited the camp, that was what I got the information. That all of the numbers that are on the Bujumbura camp, there were about 7,000. And all of that 7,000, only 500 have been considered as free. And those people have been given the extra money. They have taken them from the Bujumbura camp and taken them to St. Zoli, which is called a Christian camp in the western region of Ghana, where you used to have the refugee from Sierra Leone, where they used to stay. So those 500 people will be taken from Bujumbura and then sent to that St. Zoli camp. Now, those who were left at the camp, the chief of Gomoa East, and that of the Fete, Bujumbura, around the Kaswa area, they decide that they want to, because there is an extension of road from Kaswa, those who know Ghana, from Kaswa to Winneba. And so the chief said they want to give way for the construction of market. So they had to take our brothers and sisters out of their roof that they had, a makeshift house that they had there. It was broken down, demolished. And when I went on the camp, Jeff, these people were sleeping in classrooms. Some were sleeping in churches around the camp. And this prompted the intervention of the Liberian government to have them, repatriated. And the current process is ongoing. And I mean, when you go to the camp, you feel sad. I went there. The first camp I visited, the first what we call the sleep center I visited was the Bujumbura Refugee Junior High School. And when I got there, I mean, that was somewhere behind. That was something behind the scene that you didn't see on TV. I literally had to empty my pocket, to buy water.
You can say that again. They did similar to me when I went there last year. They have to empty my pocket.
So it's not a little bit funny or conquer, but the sad reality is that those people who are on the camp, some of them are interviewed over 10 family members, and some of them don't even know where they come from in Liberia. Some of them were born in Ghana. And so to gather the courage of staying somewhere for over 34 years, and then I'm going back to Liberia to start all over, was a serious situation. And therefore, this makes some of them decide they want to stay in Ghana. But the recent demolition exercise, there are 10 different school centers at the Bujumbura camp. The one is at the Bujumbura school. The other one is at the Refugee Baptist. Another area called Women's Center. some other churches around the camp that people are currently staying. So nobody wants to stay in that kind of condition. And that is why you see most of them are coming back home. And what I saw today, I once lived as a refugee in Guinea. And what I saw today in Kari reminded me of the day of being a refugee in Guinea, where thanks were built for us to stay in as a kid. And that's exactly what I'm saying. So all the Liberian government have done is to create what we call a counseling center. I think that's the best thing they have ever done, because taking the people back from Ghana and putting them in the tent is actually like you're going back to the refugee days. So, and they have a counseling session where they'll be counseling them to tell them that, hey, this is just a temporary hosting center. And I think it's going to be a help to them. But honestly, I just pray that those people who are coming, like the director said, they know about there are category of people. There are people who are refugee. There are people who are no longer refugee, and there are people who got stranded in Ghana. Take for instance, somebody said, "Oh man, you can come to Ghana, you go make a living," and then somebody took their baby far 200, they got on car and went to Ghana. And they got stranded. They've been there for the past 10 years. So those people are also part of the group. And there are people who were born at the Buduran camp, some of them the parents, and they're also refugees. There are people who left from here like 1990, and then they haven't come back to Liberia. They're also bringing all of them. And then according to the director, what they are doing currently is that those who are coming with the first batch of 700, majority are focused on people who are considered to be, very vulnerable. Some are not well, and some of them, like I said, don't have nobody in Liberia. So they're focusing more on those people, and they are making way to see if they can bring the 4,000 people that they believe that they can bring to Liberia. So they're going to be bringing it in batches. The first batch of 700, according to the director, they will be in Liberia on Thursday.
Thank you so kindly, Emmanuel Kotu. He's the acting station manager here at Punch FM. Thanks so kindly for speaking with us tonight on the Viewpoint on Punch 167 Punch TV Live. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you.
You're welcome. So he's my boss man, Emmanuel Kotu. Mr. Raw is the come on in. So we asked management to go up to 10:15. It's 8 minutes past 10. So we're picking more calls, few calls up to 10:15 when we shall wrap up. So you want to have a say, those of you who've been calling while we were speaking to our IT manager, Emmanuel Kotu, Mr. Raw. You can still put in your calls. Let's hear from you quickly before we wrap up on the show tonight. Good evening, your name, where you come from, please.
Well, I'm calling you from one town.
Please, let's hear you quickly.
Yeah. So the government is a maturity government. And the government, we are being ensured. It's not just to put you in those areas that you just wake up and do your own thing. That you're not even consulted with your other police or with other people. You see how you got it and put the country into care. We don't bear his history. We never think for anything. And after, if you and I have been born, we have never asked the parents about the rent issue in the country. I had it frustrated. I would not call you, I'm a senator planner. So, they guys, before they pick up and say something, they must go into the justice. I beg. If even the president, without that regular statement he made, I'm going to fire him before I don't delay. I got it. I'm going to fire him. But this is the caveat I'm going to him. He must airport and airport. I'm going to say it to you. I'm going to say it to you and say it to him. He must airport and airport. Do that no move. One at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly, my brother, for your participation. We've got 5 minutes ago. So let's hear from you on 0778 665 699. 0880561644. The Viewpoint tonight on Punch 167 Punch TV. Those of you viewing us live on Punch TV, the WhatsApp number is there. You can put your call through, and we will speak with you tonight. 0778 561 If we can get some more calls, we will call it a day tonight on the Viewpoint on Punch 16.7 FM and Punch TV.
Inflation is unacceptable. If you inflate a price, the Commerce Ministry and team will be on your back, and you're not supposed to inflate any price. We do know that business people take advantage and opportunities in these kinds of situations, but the president is saying to Liberian people that the price of rice remain as it was. It's not any form of increment is not yet discussed or approved. There are discussions happening behind the scene. We understand the challenges the importers have expressed with the situation in India. We know they're going through elections, but any form of abrupt increment at this time in just 4 months is unacceptable. For now, the information to all of you this time is that there is not going to be any increment in the price. And that is the message from the presidency. Thank you very much, and we look forward to engaging further.
The voice of the presidential press secretary. Now, I will try to speak with Doug Cooper again before the wrap up, but this is the statement that came up. The two were on the show, two different releases on the Executive Mansion website. The first one is President Boca meets rising borders and disapproves increment in the price of rice. What's the other one that was posted? Was it deleted? And this is where we get a caution. The executive mansion. Okay, this is on Cooler Space. So let me go to the executive mansion website. So there are two things posted on the executive mansion. The first is 1 hour ago, it said President Boca appoints members of the Council of the Liberia Standards Authority. That's not what I want. This is what I want. 55 minutes ago, it says President Boca meets with rice importers and disapproves increment in the price of rice. Following a meeting here with rice importers in Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yoma Boca, President of Liberia, has disapproved any increment in the price of rice and that prices remain unchanged pending following thorough review. Meanwhile, the government of Liberia has advised strongly that there be no holding of this essential commodity and no cross-border transshipment from Liberia. The Ministry of Justice, Commerce and Industry and the Joint Security have been instructed to ensure that this directive is fully adhered to. All parties are encouraged to play their part at this critical juncture as the government strives to move ahead the full scale with the implementation of the arrest agenda for prosperity and national peace. So with this press statement, or this statement from the executive mansion, we will go back to Doug Cooper. I'm sure Doug Cooper has left the bathroom. Let's see whether we can speak with Doug Cooper, because he's playing a major role with the ahead of the position that Josephine Davis served. He has a major role to play. So we will try to speak with Doug Cooper again tonight. Let's see whether he's left the bathroom. The phone is ringing. The Director General for Commerce, he has a very major role to play in enforcing what the government has said today, that there is no increment in the price. It should be at 16, not 18.50. So what is his department doing, or his office doing, to ensure beginning tomorrow or even today that all importers the price of selling rice at $16 and not 18.50, 16 or 17 and not 18.50. So the phone is ringing. Is apparently Doug will not answer. So if he doesn't answer, it's no problem, but we'll get to the lines and pick other callers. Let's pick this caller tonight. Hello, your name and why you join us on, please. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Go ahead, your name again.
Yes, this is Joseph. I'm calling for FD.
Yo, let's hear you from FDA. You found the caller.
Yeah, I don't know why Dr. Boy is taking it. He said he's powerful. And we want to say that for attack for information. So tomorrow, if we cannot see those guys in the street, to move from store to store. And let me tell you something. We will make our own citizen group move from store to store when we ask for routine. You really tell us 18 hours, 17 hours after should be good. I think we'll be the police will come for us. Because you do this to us. Local company listening to me, please answer the call and tell us how the team is going to work tomorrow. Other than that, we'll move from store to store or we'll go to wherever the steady rent. Anything for somebody to say the steady rent for 18 hours, 17 hours, you'll close your place. We'll come into way like that. You can't do that to us. Please answer your call.
Thank you, my brother. But it's obvious that I don't think it's official time. So, Dokupa, maybe to some extent, is right. Tonight is because passing. But the government official, especially with this issue rise, and you an entity that is concerned, an entity of concern, you should be able to pick because you say you were in the background, you still in the background, unless you have run stuff out. So sorry to say that, but unless you have run stuff, so you can pick, you stay in the background. But we will try to attempt to speak with Dokupa tomorrow on the morning show. The guys on the morning show, the Punch Breakfast Show, will try to contact Dokupa to hear from him. Well, folks, this is all of the time we've got to be with you tonight on the Viewpoint of Punch 106.7 and Punch TV Live. Many thanks for your participation. And this is how we leaving you tonight. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for your participation. God's will, and be back here tomorrow, Wednesday, April May 22nd, 2024 presentation of the Viewpoint. My name is Jeff Jefferson. Have yourselves a blessed good night.